you started to see the toughness really come out, probably after game 2 with St. Thomas. It kind of been building a little bit, but you could see like there was a little shift in the mentality, because that was a game where we probably felt we could have won that game, and we couldn't find a way to get it done, and I think Saturday is probably the greatest indicator of gotten a win out. I thought they were in our end a whole lot, but we kind of kept them to the outside. There wasn't a lot going on. We had some guys sick, and so we had one center who was really not feeling well, so his shift length was really short. So the other 3 guys really played a lot of minutes. And it's a tough position to have to play a lot of minutes. So, and then and Benny made huge saves when we needed it, and we got the blocks when we needed it, and we just kind of hung around the game long enough to make that final play.
So for the rest of the way, it's going to be single game elimination, which is a stark departure from the entire year. You play teams back to back all season long. So now that you go down to just seeing a team once with it all on the line, does that at all impact the way that you prepare for an opponent, knowing you're only going to get one crack at them?
Not really. I think you get to a point in the year where you're pretty comfortable with every team in the league. You know what their strengths are. Things that are going to give you challenges. You try to come up with some areas where you can be successful. It doesn't really change, the mentality much. And with our opponent, we know them as well as we know anybody.
Well, let's talk about that opponent. Over the last 3 seasons, the Cats 2-12 against Michigan Tech. I have to imagine that record has built some frustration with this core of guys. What does this rivalry come to mean to them?
I think you can go back to the seniors' freshman year. We finished 3rd and they finished 6th, and we played them the last weekend of the year up there. We split with them there, and then the next weekend we were here for the playoffs, and they got us twice, the second night in overtime, but double overtime. But that's how kind of, as freshmen, that's how their season ended. And as seniors, they have a chance to play that game again to continue our season. I think it's a great time for it. I think that record's crazy, because you look at rivalries and it's never like that. In a lot of the years we finished higher than them in the standings, so that just doesn't compute. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us to continue on in our season, and no greater way for those seniors than this opportunity.
Well, talking a bit about that rivalry, playing in McInnes, that's never an easy place to play, but especially not in the playoffs. How do you brace to play in an environment like that, where it's going to be a packed house, it's going to be loud, and nobody's going to really have particularly nice things to say to you?
You embrace it. We're going to play a great game. I just, sometimes you get a gut feeling that you're going to play great. I think we're going to play great. Whatever the outcome is, who makes more plays, whatever. So I think as an athlete, it's I would much rather, there's always been this talk about the NCAA regionals, and they're in these big buildings, the game's at noon, because for TV, and you look up and it's the biggest game that these guys have played all year, and there's 3,000 people in the rink, versus an environment like this. I'd always much rather have the student athlete experience be what this game is going to be than be playing in a building where there's nobody there. So it's going to be a fun environment for both teams, and we got to play free, and we got to embrace it.
So with that said, hockey-wise, what are your thoughts on this matchup? Obviously, gotten to see this team 4 times already this year.
We got to find a way to score in the power play. I think that, that's been an area this year that we haven't, capitalized enough against them. Discipline, the one time up there, I think we, ended up on a 5-on-3 penalty kill for 2 straight minutes, and, they had a 7-minute power play or whatever it was. Discipline's going to be really important. And, you got to win your matchup. Our top guys got to be our top guys. And you got to win your matchup because you don't control the line change. So you're just, whoever you get, you get. So, it's, and it's the Pietila line. It's Pietila, Mosley, and Kukkonen. And, and Ashbrook. Ashbrook's doing some damage for him too, but it's those guys, and you got to find a way to make sure that when you're out there that you neutralize that group, and you try win your shift against them. I think that's going to be important.
So, Coach, last time we sat here before Tech game and talked to you, you had mentioned that one of the struggles that your team faces, especially playing Machine Tech, is taking major penalties and kind of losing their heads to an extent, especially when playing here but also at Tech. Can you talk a little bit about how you're preparing for that side of the game? You mentioned that we were on a Northern was on a 5-on-3 the last time you were in McInnes. Can you talk a little bit about how you've been preparing your team for that aspect of it?
Yeah, I think actually today is the day that I was going to talk to him about it. Let's just say there's a scrum after a whistle. You can't fight in college hockey. So that whole element of the game has been removed. But even every time you just kind of come together, what does the crowd do? So you're just igniting their crowd. We just got to skate away. We just got to turn and skate away, and you got to play whistle to whistle. You got to win the game whistle to whistle. But and after the whistle, it's hard for you to win the game, but you can sure lose it. So we just got to stay out of it.
Okay, man. And then also last time we talked before the Tech game, you had mentioned that Andre Gantus has stretches every year of his career where he's the best player in the CCHA. Max can probably help me out with the stats here. Over the last 5 games, I believe he has 5 goals, 6 assists. Mm-hmm. Would you say he's in one of those stretches of his season right now?
Yeah, he definitely is. It's the right time for it. Andre, when Andre's hot, even like Saturday, he had 2 breakaways. You know what I mean? He's all over the rink, and he's probably been our most consistent player this year, and now hitting that stride. If he can continue that, if he can keep that up, I really like our chances.